Hi and welcome to Navigating the Perfect Storm webinar. My name is Chris Dewhurst. I'm a Solution Specialist at Centralis. So what we hope you'll get from today, hopefully we'll be able to give you an overview of what we define as the perfect storm. We'll give you some insight into predicted budget trends for 2013 based on some research we carried out with our customers. We'll hope to clarify an understanding around the challenges of mobile devices in the current world, understand why VDI potentially is back on the rise as a way of solving those challenges, or at least some of those challenges, and we will look at an approach that will help you plan to get from today to tomorrow. So how do I actually get from what we're doing today, how we're delivering applications and devices, to where potentially the CIO wants us to get to. At the end of this as well, there'll be a chance to win a free consultancy exercise worth over £3,500. So the perfect storm, and some of you probably recognise this picture, is a calamity caused by the convergence and amplifying interaction of a number of factors. Well, that's all well and good as a definition, but what do we actually mean by the perfect storm? Well, what we mean is there's been a lack of investment over the years in the end user device space, in the end user computing space. There have been additional factors forced upon us, like migrating away from XP to Vista, which didn't go particularly well, and now moving to Windows 7, and now Windows 8's come out. It's touch-based. We're seeing a lot of businesses in the cloud space building solutions, and all of them sort of cross over in terms of what they do and how they deliver, and trying to pick the right one can often be challenging. We've seen challenges around 64-bit computing, so we've got customers that have delivered applications using XenApp, Presentation Server, remote desktop services. However, those platforms now run on 64-bit operating systems, which means that some of their applications may not work. And then, of course, we've got the economic pressures that have been applied over the last few years with the sort of downturn in the economy. So all these things coming together are all kind of leading towards what we class as the perfect storm. So if we talk about the current forecast for 2013, as I said, this was as a result of conversations and some consultancy carried out with some of our customers to talk about what their plans and budgets look like for 2013. So first off, we can see that there's going to be a growth in information collaboration projects, probably no surprise, but we are seeing sort of 32% growth is quite considerable around that, making people more agile, being able to work on the fly, pull resources together, so not necessarily structured fixed teams anymore, but actually pulling teams together to suit particular challenges. And maybe teams of people that don't usually work together inside and outside the organisation. We're looking at an increase in mobility around the applications, so we're seeing a large number of customers looking at, if not deploying currently, mobile application strategies, so developing applications to run on Apple platforms or Android platforms. At the moment we're seeing a 50% growth in the actual development side of it, so people actually taking that the next step and actually delivering these applications out, which only accounts for 2% of the total IT spend, but obviously we're seeing that grow and grow and grow, so that could be quite an interesting one to watch. We're seeing that 54%, as you can see there, of organisations that we talk to are looking to increase spending in the public cloud, so looking to move some of the services they would usually deliver in-house to a service that's delivered in a public platform. And then we're seeing, as a consequence of that, really are a change and an emergence of some new IT roles that are more service orientated. So we're looking at information architects, end user experience designers, and I'm sure there'll be many more similar job titles that come out, but quite a large increase in these new types of job roles that are focusing on the end user experience and the applications that are being delivered, the devices that people are using. And as a consequence of that, then IT outside of IT, so things like Office 365, Google Apps have meant that businesses have been able to shift out some of the support and management of certain applications or platforms to other organisations on a price per user per month basis. So we move on to mobility for applications, a different perspective. So what we're talking about here is actually some of the challenges around mobile application delivery. So as I said, a number of businesses are looking at delivering a new application set to a new device type. And what I mean by that is the majority of people we spoke to that are doing this are looking to develop applications for Apple. So benefits in doing that are you've got an application that's been designed and built for that particular platform, so the user experience is going to be very good. However, you're really responding to the consumerization of IT point we made in the perfect storm definition, in that the users are bringing in Apple devices, therefore we will write applications that run natively on that device and give a great user experience. The challenge with allowing the consumers to drive that behavior comes when the users are fairly fickle. So let's say 6 months time, Android steals the march even further on Apple, and all of a sudden people are bringing more Android-based devices than they're bringing in Apple-based devices. Are you then going to change your strategy to develop an application set for the Android community? And then let's say 12 months BlackBerry comes back in with a solution based on their Z and X platforms, version 10, and consumers start bringing that device. Are you then going to divide your application development time amongst 3 different vendors while still maintaining your x86 application strategy for users that aren't bringing their own device? So there are obviously challenges with doing that. There's some potential benefits in terms of the user experience is going to be great, but the cost could be quite high and the complexity could be quite high. And having these applications work on these devices can be a challenge. So we've seen people talk about, okay, well, we'll develop web applications, therefore they'll run across any of these devices. And again, that sounds like a good idea in principle. The challenge with that, though, is that all these different devices run a different operating system that runs a different internet browser that has different restrictions in terms of the environments that they can run. So if you've got an application that needs to run in a particular Java runtime environment that isn't currently supported by the latest version of Android or Apple, or you've got a Flash application that has challenges on running on an Apple device, then again, those applications, although they're billed as clientless, do have client requirements set upon them. So considerable challenges there around delivering application strategies to those particular devices. So this is why we believe the VDI wave is potentially hit again, so the second coming. And two real reasons. So the first reason being that it's a simple way of delivering your current application set, x86 application set, to these devices. So if you present a virtual desktop image with your key applications in it, then any of those devices on the left-hand side can access that desktop. And they will still get a very good user experience, whether that be delivered from Citrix or VMware or Microsoft. The user experiences are getting better and better and better all the time, depending on the use case. The other reason we're seeing a resurgence in VDI is the cost point. So in the past, the cost of VDI was quite prohibitive. And when we say cost, 40 to 60% of the cost was down to the storage. With vendors like Atlantis, with their Ilio product set, we're able to reduce that storage requirement down to virtually nothing, where we can run everything inside memory, inside RAM, and deliver a very good user experience. So we believe these sort of solutions that have come out and these pressures around delivering the applications and the desktop to consumer-based devices are really driving the second coming of VDI. So the challenge then is which way is the right way. So if you've got a lower cost to make it faster, more secure, you've got to develop new applications or move from a CapEx model to an OpEx model while improving collaboration. So everything we talked about in the forecast. How do you start? How do you set your priorities? How do you actually decide which way is the right way to go? So the key thing that we talk to people about is if you know where you want to go to, that's great. But if you don't know where you are, it's very difficult to tell you the best route to get there. So if I were going there, I wouldn't start from here. It's kind of an underlying principle that we have at Centralis in terms of it's all well and good knowing where you want to go, but you really need to understand where you are to find the best way forward. So we've got a 5-step process that's been proven with a lot of our customers to capture, clarify, and confirm some of the thinking around any type of desktop transformation service. So the where are you going piece, that's the strategic goals. Strategy definition on step 1 will help you understand your business requirements, help map and align the IT solutions to those business requirements by doing step 2, which is how are you going to travel. So in terms of requirements analysis, do we need to deliver services to Android devices and Apple devices or any device? Do we need to ensure that they've got access to offline data? Do we need to provide access to 3D applications? So all those things come under the requirements analysis, really understanding what the end game needs to look like from a technical standpoint. And then understanding where are you now, so doing the discovery piece, understanding what you've got. So a lot of projects that we do, when we do the discovery piece, we might find lots of parts of the platform that can actually be reutilized, repurposed to deliver a new solution, rather than spending a whole load of money on buying new kit. We can repurpose solutions and technology that you've already invested in. And then what is the best route? So having a look at all the vendors and the technologies out there, how they fit together, looking at it from a technical perspective, but also from a commercial perspective. So we can truly map and align the right vendors, the right solutions to your business requirements. And then at the end of it, give you the route planner. So how are you going to get there? The high-level solution design, the picture that shows where you are now and where you're going to and how you're going to get there and what pieces and components make that up, including budgetary figures around the cost for doing that implementation and that transformation. So what next? Effectively, after today, if you sign up for a 2-hour workshop, what we can do is we'll come in with a consultant, we'll talk to you about your specific challenges and the options that you've got. By signing up to that workshop and having it delivered, you'll automatically be entered into a prize draw to win the whole strategy engagement at no additional charge, which is worth over £3,500. There's details on the screen around the nature of the service and who it's for and the benefits of that particular service, and then also around the composition. Now, one thing I can't stress too much is, although there is a cost to this, or not if you obviously win the draw, it's the time. So you do need to be prepared to invest time. This isn't something where we're locked up in a room for a few days and we come back with a particular answer. It's something that we very much work with you on to deliver the right service to you that maps very well to your business. So I hope you found today useful, and please sign up for the workshop, and you never know, you could be the one that wins the free engagement.